Hello, class. I'm going to go through a few videos in case you missed week one. The first one is just setting up your Figma account. I'll put together one on sort of in Figma, the skills we covered, as well as one how to save your assignment to submit it for this week. So this first one is just getting set up with your account. If you can, make sure that you've done this before class in week 2 so that you're ready to go. If you're having trouble with the homework and you missed the first week, then you can just ask me questions when you get to class in the second week. So first thing, Figma, I'll go over it in detail later, but it is the software we're going to be creating to create your designs. It does a lot of stuff and it's fantastic and it's professional level. It's also an online, a cloud-based software, so you can access it in the labs or on your home computers. I'm going to ask that you use your SFU email because we will be using the education accounts. Education accounts are when you get the pro features for free. So if you just signed up, say, using your Gmail account, you would get a basic account and you wouldn't have all the features that we're going to be using to do your assignments. So first thing you need to make sure is that you have a SFU computing ID. Your SFU computing ID is what you use to get on to the computers in the FIC lab. So when you go into class and you log on to a computer, that is what I'm talking about. If you've never gone into the computer lab before and used one, then you'll have to set one up to start. You would have been sent an email on how to set up your computing ID when you started FIC. So it's in your email somewhere. So that's what you first off need to find. All right, I'm just going to go and show you on the FIC website where you find a short tutorial on how to set it up. So I assume this page looks familiar to everyone. You just learning.fraserick.ca. Go in the middle here, and there's one that says IT Squad. Click on it and go down one. It says Computing ID Setup. It's only a minute and 32 seconds. This will go over how you set up your SFU Computing ID. So make sure that you've done this. If you've forgotten your password, you can also reset your password for it in here, as well as there's instructions at the top of Moodle on how to reset your password. So this is step one, just making sure you have a functioning SFU computing ID. So the next step is checking your SFU email. As soon as you create an SFU computing ID, it automatically generates an email account. I have no idea why this is the picture on my Safari, on my Safari browser, but there you go. So I'm just going into Safari and I'm going to look up and I'm going to just type into my browser SFU mail, or SFU Outlook is a better search. SFU Outlook, and then I will find SFU Outlook. And so I type that and I get SFU Mail, Simon Fraser University. I click on that and it asks me to log in. So my username is whatever my computing ID, for me is S. Clement, and then I'm not going to put in my password because I don't want everyone to see my mail. And I would put in my password and it would take me to my mail. So that's the first step so that you can see your mail, because when you sign up, Figma's going to be emailing stuff to this account because that's the email you're going to use. So I'm going to have my email open so that I can get those things going. So step one, I created my SFU ID. Step two, I logged into my SFU email. Okay, now let's move on to step 3, which is actually creating a Figma account. So I'm going to go to a browser window and type in figma.com. And this is the page that unless you're already logged in, will take you to. Once you have created an account, you will use your SFU. So mine is, go into here, sclement at sfu.ca. So my computing ID at sfu.ca and my Figma password. So as you haven't created an account yet, if you're watching this video, I'm going to hit create one. I'm going to make sure I use this email because I want to be able to get the free education. I'll hit continue with this email and then I will create a password and so on and so forth. And then log in, and it will take me automatically to my Figma account. I already have one, so I'm not going to do that here. The other thing is make sure that you save your password somewhere so that you can get back in. Everyone always loses their password. So make sure you have some kind of password manager. There's probably a free one on your computer. All right, so now you have a basic Figma account. You need to create this before we create an education account. So once you've done this, we're going to create an education account, and I will show you how to do that. All right, so all I'm gonna do is go to a browser and I'm gonna type in Figma education so that it does a search. I'm gonna ignore all the sponsored stuff at the top because it's fairly useless and go to where I can see this is part of Figma and it says Figma for higher education. And then it's just figma.com/education, etc. So what you need to do here is get verified. And it might, your interface, depending upon, sometimes I come into this a little bit differently, and I would also want to be logged in when I'm doing this because it's going to need to know who I am. So I'm logged in and then I do this in the same browser. I put my email and password. I'm not going to so that I'm logged in, or maybe I'll, here, I'll just pick one here. Here, let me just open up. I think I already have it open so I can show you. Here it is. I've already opened it up. Smart me. So that you can see what it will look like when you go into it. So when you get into here, it's going to ask you for a few things. You are a student. You are in higher ed. Why are you applying? You could put you're taking a graphic design course, IAT 102. Your university is Simon Fraser University. This course, IAT, is a IAT course. So it's part of Simon Fraser University's curriculum. And so you want to choose that. This is important because to get the free account, you're connecting it. I don't think FIC has registered with Figma, so that it just makes it easier for it to work. You're going to choose graphic design or visual design. This file is the syllabus. So I'm just going to go to Moodle. So if I go into Moodle, and you go click your graphic design course and go to the top here and it says graphic design syllabus. If you just click on it, it will download it. You will then go back. Where was I? I'm here. And you'll just choose that file that you downloaded. So it needs to see the syllabus. I would put the date that you expect to graduate from SFU because otherwise your account will, your free plan will time out. You have to put you agree, and then submit, and you will be verified and you will have the full account and you will be ready to do your homework.